Apartment 7A is a 2024 psychological horror film written and directed by Natalie Erica James. This serves as a prequel to the 1968 film Rosemary's Baby, which starred Mia Farrow and which was directed by Roman Polanski, and it's based off of the novel of the same name, Rosemary's Baby by Ira Levine, and this is the third film in the franchise. Now, you're asking yourself, how can they have a prequel to Rosemary's Baby? Well, this is that film. It's set in 1965 in New York City, and it's centered around a young dancer named Terry, who rents a room from an elderly couple. And the elderly couple is played by Diane Wiest and Jim Sturgis, who go by the names of Minnie and Alan. And all Terry wants is to have that big break and that big stardom. No pun intended on the big break part, because as she's going through her routine in the beginning of the film, dancing and singing in one of the plays that she ends, she does a little move, she falls on her foot, breaks her ankle entirely. And you then see her kind of taking pain medications for it, icing it, and just being down and out and not knowing what to do. She's just like an addict all of a sudden because it's what gets her through her day. You then see Minnie and Alan take her into their apartment. Their apartment, Minnie and Alan's apartment, is 7A. Terry lives in 7G. Now you're wondering what is going on, what is happening. Well, as the course of the movie goes on, Terry kind of tries to figure out her surroundings. Why does she keep having weird dreams? Is she hallucinating? Is it the pills that she's taking? And then she becomes pregnant all of a sudden. And if you know the story, you know who she's pregnant with. It's the devil's child. And we know that the entire apartment building are Satan worshippers. And it's like, all right, well then what is the who did it? Who impregnated her? This and that. You go into the details of that as well. And there are some images in this, it's like totally out of left field. You see the aspects of the demon or the devil per se in the background showing up in little corners, little holes like that. But then there's a weird scene where that takes place in a washing machine. She hears something, she looks at it, and there's something tumbling in there, which is totally unexpected. It's not gory, it's not jump scares, it's psychological, which is really, really good. The story is really, really well written. Very, very well acted by Julia Garner, who plays Terry, who you may know starred in Ozark and played the character of Ruth alongside Jason Bateman. Diane Wiest as Minnie really, really shines in this. She really grabbed the attention of how to kind of play the role of the caring, loving older woman, but then really being psychotic in her own way. I mean, if you've seen Rosemary's Baby, you know what that film is in 1968, and it's a big, big cult classic horror film. You know the angst and the gist of, what's going on. But then how did they get to Rosemary? That's the part. And it's really, really fun how the character of Rosemary, kind of does show up in the end in a way which I don't want to give away. The character of Terry does everything she can to get rid of the child. And a really interesting sequence, she goes to the church, speaks with a nun, and is holding the satanic book in her hand. And the nun tells her, you need to do this, this, and this. And, oh, you're pregnant? Well, God forbid this child is born, and it's, crazy. Her hallucinations really worked well and a way of directing. Natalie Erica James really, really wrote and directed a phenomenal film. Not only did she write it as well, she wrote it all along with Christian White and Skylar James, and the story was by Skylar James. The movie runs for 104 minutes long and premiered on streaming September 27th, 2024 on Paramount Plus. So you can watch Rosemary's Baby first, watch this, or watch this first and Rosemary's Baby. But seeing the dynamic and the overall projection, she tells her backstory of where she lived on a farm that was a slaughterhouse. Something happened to her parents. She goes into that. She kind of has that trauma with her. And it's just a woman just wanting to be famous, and she'll do anything to be famous and have her name up on the marquee for the play that she's in called The Pale Crook. And it's just like really, really interesting and really well done. The pacing is good. You're like, is it predictable? Some scenes are predictable, some aren't predictable. But then you're like, what is really happening? You see someone running around with scissors trying to attack her, which you didn't expect at all. And it's like, oh, okay. Is this better than Rosemary's Baby? I would say slightly. Rosemary's Baby stands on its own, even though this entire franchise has 3 films. This stands on its own, being like, all right, why did the Satan worshippers try so many times to get it right and wanting this baby to be born? That's explained in this and as to why, which is really, really good. There are a lot of prequels to classic films, which is really happening a lot over the Hollywood genre of horror films, especially how it's done. And Julia Garner really played a fantastic role as Terry. Her singing is great, the dancing is great, and the chemistry she has with Diane Wiest is fantastic. Diane Wiest is the forefront villain in this. If you've seen her in Birdcage, you've seen her in Mayor of Kingstown, Bullets Over Broadway, and then you see her in this, you'll be, surprised. And it's like, all right, the psychological aspect is there. For me, psychological horror films are more scarier than your gore, blood, and jump scare films. This was really good. This was really well done. It's a solid prequel. If people out there don't like this prequel, that's fine. You don't like it, okay, you're in a room of your own. But with this, it's done well. It's not long of a film. It's 104 minutes long, just over an hour and a half, and it's on streaming, so you can watch it, and it's really, really good. For me, Apartment 7A, the prequel to Rosemary's Baby, gets 4 out of 5 stars. Let me know in the comment section below what you thought about Apartment 7A. Did you like it? Did you not like it? What did you think of it? What did you think about the horror tropes in this, the psychological feel, look, and design of it? Did you like how it was done? Did you like this story? Do you think that uh, it was good that this movie served as a prequel to Rosemary's Baby? Did you know the whole gist of the novel and the story of Rosemary's Baby before watching this or after watching this? And do you like the idea that they went this route instead of continuing something else? What did you miss? Did you see some Easter eggs? There are a lot of Easter eggs in this that if you really pay attention, you'll see some from Rosemary's Baby, which is really, really good. And how do you like the whole dynamic of the acting and how the dialogue was given? And do you think anything could have been done differently for this prequel film? Let me know in the comment section below. But all the questions I just asked. And also let me know what rating you would give Apartment 7A. I'm Mr. Filmstock. Thanks so much for tuning in. And I'll see you all in the next review video.